So let's talk through the bubble sort function with a lot of console logs so we can really see what's happening. So we're going to be using two different loops, but first we need to set a flag of sorts to know whether it is sorted or not. So initially, we're going to set the variable of sorted equal to false, because that's what we're checking. We're checking to see if the array is sorted, and we're assuming from the beginning that it is unsorted because we haven't checked. So we're going to say while not sorted. So while sorted is equal to false, we want to do this code. So first we're going to say, and this is a little tricky, so we're going to reset sorted to true here. And then we're going to do our if statement, or our for loop, and within that an if statement. So we're setting it equal to true here so that if it bypasses the code that we have in our for loop, we've already set it to true. So here we're going to have an if statement saying if array I is greater than array I plus 1, then we're going to run this code here. So if array I is greater than array I plus 1, is it sorted? No. So we're going to set sorted back to false. And then we need to make a couple variables here. So we need to do a new variable of new high, because this is our new high number. And we're going to set that equal to array I, because right here we've specified that array I is the higher number. And then we're going to set the position of array I equal to the value of array I plus 1. And then we're going to set array I plus 1 equal to our new high. And then down here at the end, we're going to console log our array. So if I come up over here and I run this, you see that, oh, unsorted, which looked like this, is now sorted, which is great. And we're like, oh, wonderful, it works. But what's actually happening here? Let's throw in a couple extra console logs to see what's going on. So we're going to do a console log, and we're going to look at array I and array I plus 1 before and after we reassign them. So before, we're going to do array I, and then we're going to do the same thing here, but for array I plus 1. And then we're also going to add a line break here, just so it's a little bit easier to read. So we're going to do the same thing after we've reassigned them, but instead of before, we're going to put the label of after, and let's give 2 line breaks. All right, so let's see what's happening. So if we come here and we run this function again, you'll see we have a whole lot more. So you can see that each time it's looping through, we're saying, okay, so beforehand, array I was 22. 22 is more than 4, which is what we're checking on line 8 in our if statement. So after we reassign them, array I is now 4, and array I plus 1 is now 22. But then it's going through another time, and it's checking, okay, well, is array I more than, beforehand, we've got 22 and 9. we're checking it, and then it's reordering 9 and 22. And it follows that all the way through until here. And then we're switching to array I is now 9. And then we're checking 9 against 3, and so on and so forth. So everything is slowly shuffling. I think one other thing I could do here to make this a little bit clearer is if we run a clear here, and then we're going to run another console log so we can see array after reorder. And we're going to just console log out what the array looks like, and we're just going to snag this off of this one and put it here. So let's run this again so we can see how the array is changing every time. Actually, so it's easier to see. Let's take out all of our other console logs. You saw what was happening with those. So let's see what the array looks like each time it runs through this if statement. So you can see we started with 22, 4, 9, 3, 1, 2, and then we've got 4, 22, 9, 3, 1, 2, and then we've got 4, 9, 22, 3, 1, 2. And so it's just slowly moving that 22 all the way to the back. And then once it's at the back, then we're starting again, and we're seeing, oh, is 4 bigger than 9? No. And so we're just slowly moving things through the array until they're in the right position. So you can see how things are slowly moving back. This is not the most effective sort method because it takes a really long time, but it's one that's really good to understand how it's working. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out, and I hope this was helpful.